Okay, so let's just dive right in. When you're trying to manage critical infrastructure, your biggest challenges are always things like distance, reliability,
Mm.
and of course, precision.
Absolutely. We're talking about high-density data centers, maybe pharmaceutical storage, places where you can't afford to be wrong.
Exactly. And today we're doing a deep dive into a piece of hardware that's really engineered to solve those exact problems. It's the NTI E-STHSB-D sensor.
Right. And its mission is pretty clear. Give you comprehensive environmental data, temperature, humidity.
And this is the important one-do point. It's all about getting total control over the conditions in those, very sensitive environments.
So let's start with the physical device itself. The first thing you notice is that this sensor, well, it isn't designed to be hidden away in a corner.
Oh, right, because of that huge LCD display.
A massive display. We're talking 2-inch characters. You can get a status check just by glancing at it from, clear across the facility floor.
And it's flexible with mounting, too. It has the standard keyhole slots for a wall, but the really critical feature, I think, for industrial users is that it's DI mountable.
Which is huge. It just snaps right onto standard industrial mounting rails. It makes installation so much faster in a pre-existing setup.
Okay, so it's easy to install, but how good is the data it's actually collecting, especially when you start talking about long distances?
Well, let's get into the specs on that because they're impressive. The application range goes from a pretty cold -4 all the way up to 185 degrees Fahrenheit.
And it covers almost the whole humidity spectrum, 0 to 90%.
It does. But here's where it gets really interesting, and this speaks to its professional grade design. The temperature accuracy is tiered.
Tiered. Okay, what does that little distinction tell us?
It tells us exactly who this sensor is built for. See, in the colder range, say -4 to 14 degrees Fahrenheit, the accuracy is plus or minus zero point .9 degrees. But once you get into that warmer range, from 14 to 185 degrees, the accuracy tightens up to plus or minus zero point .72 degrees.
So it's most precise in the typical operating temperatures of a server room or other sensitive electronic environments.
That's it exactly. It's engineered to be at its best where it matters most. And you see a similar story with the humidity accuracy. It's specified at 86 degrees Fahrenheit, holding to a tight plus or minus 3% in that critical 10 to 80% range.
Okay, let's move on to connectivity, because that's everything when you're talking about scale.
Yeah,
It uses a standard RJ45 connector, needs very little power.
just 5 volts DC. But the real magic here is the communication standard it uses. It's RS-485.
An industrial protocol.
Right. And that's what makes the signal so resistant to external noise or interference over long cable runs. You don't need any special exotic wiring.
So you can just use standard network cable.
You can use standard CK5, 5E, CT6 cable and extend this sensor up to 1,000 feet.
Wait, hold on. 1,000 feet. Just regular Ethernet cable.
1,000 feet, 305 meters. That capability alone is just massive for a complex facility.
I'll say.
And if that's not enough, if you're managing a truly huge installation, it's also compatible with the EFSE fiber converter.
And that lets you do what?
That pushes the sensor's reach out to 1.2 miles. That's 2 kilometers from the main EnviroMUX unit.
Incredible. Okay, so connecting it to the bigger picture, system compatibility has to be a big question.
Of course. So it's designed to be powered by and work with NTI's E2D, E5D, and E16D units.
And a quick note for anyone listening, for the smaller E2D, you do need a Rev-C unit or later.
That's the one. And maybe more importantly for some people, make sure you know it is not compatible with the older ESTHSBD model.
Good to know. And what about compliance? The paperwork side of things.
All covered. It has a 2-year warranty from NTI, and it's got the key regulatory approvals like CE and RoHS. It's also TAA compliant, which is a big deal for any organization that deals with federal government procurement.
So when you put it all together, what you have is a high-accuracy, industrial-scale monitoring device that's been surgically optimized for critical temperature zones.
And engineered to deliver that data reliably over extremely long distances.
All right, so we'll leave you with a final thought to explore on your own.
Yeah, a little homework. We've talked a lot about temperature and humidity, but think about this. What kind of critical infrastructure relies most heavily on that often overlooked measurement of dew point?
And not just for monitoring conditions, but to actively prevent the physical degradation or even catastrophic failure of the equipment itself.